Masachet Hullin Daf Mem Heit Amud Aleph, 13 lines down. Amale Moshe Beredra Nahuna Meredra Pipil Ravina. Hadr ibn Hamad Beredra Yosef Tuna Hamat Mintla. That which we said before, Ibn Hamad ben Yosef said that you said that he was washing the lung in warm water to check for a leak in the air. You mentioned it in this case where the case was the lung was stuck to the wall of the chest. We learned it in the case of Ravad. Amar Ravad says, Hani tarte une dereade serichen, that you have two lobes that are not next to each other but are stuck together. Let lo b'diguta l'bashure, there's no way to check it. Rabbi Bereida Yosef, Rabbi Nechemia would actually check it with warm water. Why would you say that? In the case of the chest wall, it makes sense because you could see that it came from the chest wall. That's why it's stuck there. And it'd be kasher because it's not terefa. In the second version where you said it was two lobes, why would it make a difference? Why would it be kosher? Doesn't make sense. If it's stuck to one, it's stuck to the other, and therefore one of them is definitely teref. That's the case that I'm not going to really hold it as taref automatically. How's that possible? Amar Yosef Bar Mini Amar Nachman. The lung is punctured and the chest wall seals it. It's kasher. So we see that Rav Nachman holds that a lung puncture does not make a taref if it's sealed by the chest wall. So why would he say if it's stuck to the wall, it's pasul automatically? Should be tahor. Because it's not a stira. Hatam come to gita. In the case where the chest wall is considered sealed, where it's stuck to the place where it naturally grows from. Hacham Shalom in the case where it's not a good seal, is referring to it's stuck to the part of the chest wall next by the lung stuck there in a place where it's not naturally there. It's therefore it's not an effective seal. What's the natural place? It's the place of the lobe separations, the top three upper lobes of the right lung and the top two on the left side. That's where it naturally sticks against the wall. Kufa, we said earlier, defense with the lung is punctured and the chest wall sealed is kasher. This only applies if it's smushed with the meat from the actual cow rather than stuck to the ribs. He says to him, if it's not with the meat, what's the halacha? Taref? It must be that we say that the lung is considered punctured. Yeah, even if we did become stuck to the meat, it should still be taref. The time it says, if a person whose male organ is punctured, he cannot marry another woman because he does not have an effective way to mate. You'll see, you could see Rashid to explain what that means. Nestam Kashim Mipnei Shumulit, if that whole puncture became sealed, he can marry because now he's able to have children. So this is the type of disqualification that returns to kashrut. Where it says now, okay, what do you mean this is excluding? Must be talking about a case where the lung became punctured and it got taref. It gets stuck into the wall and it's still it's still taref, even though it got fixed. Where it says la as referring to the case where the scab formed by a wound of the lung, and that seals the puncture. The inner column is not considered a good seal. In the case where the chest wall sealed the lung puncture, if the chest wall itself then became punctured right where that puncture of the lung was, what's the halacha? Tarif. And then that's the case. Let the Mishnah mention the case of a punctured chest wall. That's, that's what you were thinking, that a punctured chest will be pasul if it's a punctured lung stuck to that spot. The gallbladder became punctured and the liver sealed against it, and the animal's kasher. That's the case. If the liver then became punctured next to that spot, it would also become taref. The Mishnah should mention it as well. Obviously, we're not talking about a case where the puncture is only dependent on the second separate factor. So like over there, we're not going to mention liver to gallbladder. So over here, we're not going to mention chest wall to lung. Kevin laminated the since that puncture itself is not making tarif. Like time to mention it. Hey, what's halacha if there's blisters on the lung? I also say so. The students are not sure. It's full of pus, it's tarif. Maim zakim keshrab, it's full of liquid, it's kasher. Maleh, hahiki chulet itmar. That's only referring to a diseased kidney, not a lung. If there's a lung that has a blister, it's not a problem whether or not it's liquid or pus. Rabbi Yitzhak ben Yosef Kabakazil, they followed him into the butcher's market. They came and he saw the lungs full of blisters. Amalei, he says, "La buy more." Don't you want to buy meat? Amalei, let me pretty. I don't have money. Amalei says, "Okay, fine. I'll pay you. I'll pay for you. You pay me back." Amalei, ma arid lach. What do you want me to do for it? يخياتك من ريحهم كمان حاكم تريحهم مش له كم مدر يدا. The Rabbi Shimon, they send the rabbi, they send this case to Rabbi Shimon. The more Rabbi Shimon, the Rabbi Elazar Shimon, and he was lenient. Let us hear that I don't hold like that. That's why I don't want to buy it. I don't hold Zasur, but I don't hold that it's mutar. Marabak, you have them in the beginning of today, I work with Nachman Bashuka in the market. They live where the workers of leather used to be. But I'm the Bashuka that Rabbanan say was in the rabbi's market. Hazi Hanach to come and can they saw these lungs that were full of these blisters that look like pouches. He didn't say anything to them. Obviously, held kasher. Rabbi Ba'ameh, Rabbi see how Half Bashuka the Tveria, they were passing through the market of Tveria. Hazi Hanach to come at Tinner, they found these blisters that look like stones. No problem. They obviously held it's mutar. Idmar Mahachin said today, if a needle was found in the lung of an animal that was slaughtered, Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Lazar, Rabbi Yochanan Mashra said mutar. Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish, Rabbi Mamani bar Patish, Rabbi Shimon the Hakim Terafel said tarek. Leah Mafkin made machloket is based off of the following points. The more savar Hayson Mifim Shmei Hayson, they hold that if there's something missing in the inside, if it's deficient on the inside, it's considered deficient, therefore it's taref. ومور سبلاش من حد من other opinions that's not a problem, therefore the needle does not make it tarif. لا, that's not a proof. That's not what they're arguing about. The Kulon everybody holds Hesram B'Fnim Shlosh Ben Hadar is not a problem inside. The Achmagim holds as follows. More Svar Simpona Nakat Ba'ata. They hold, one opinion holds, that the needle went through the blood and came to the lungs that way. Therefore, there's no reason to believe that it punctured the lung. But more Svar Nakule Nakevate. No, if it's in the lung, it punctured through. هي محات الدشتريات بحيث هذا الإعادة when they found the needle by the lung. I too, the commander بعمي they came to بعمي سبب عشرة he told me بيتكشر. It's very very they asked me as a question. بيجي من رزقك من رزقك. هاري عاش نكبا عوش حسرة. We said in Mishnah the lung is punctured or if it was missing. It's عارف ما حسرة what do you mean missing? إلا ما بحوم if you want to say it's outside missing and نكبا saying punctured. إلا must be from inside. وشو معناه حسرة from مش معناه حسرة must be proof from here that internal missing is considered missing. حتى الشكل اللي كمان بيسحب نفسه they send it along to somebody else for the arena سحب نفسه for a ruling. Several actually he also those كاشر. It's very very I asked the same question. بيت من الرزيكا هاي ايش نفع حسرة ما حسرة إلا خص هاي الكوبا لا ما يفهم مش معناه حسرة في مش معناه حسرة. So what did he do? حتى الشكل اللي كمان ربع عمي they sent it to ربع عمي to make it. خا بتعرف says تعرف أما أنا they told him بهرب عن ماشي but they said ربع خان وزار ربع خان wanted to say it's مطار. أما لا هاني told him هاني يخشوا شديم ما إذا تعمل يخشوا they said مطار based off what they understood, meaning that lung that they had was intact, and therefore they could check if it was punctured. I'm over here, this lung, which is already sliced open, we can't tell if it was punctured. If it was in front of us, we would have seen that it was punctured. Talmud let us another reason why you say it's a sword because you can't tell if it's not here to fully to see if it was punctured or not. Ha'eta v'lo menakav kasher, but over here, if it was in front of us, not punctured, be kasher. Amar Rav Nachman holds. It's important that air that didn't keep taref. A tube of the bronchial in the lung was punctured, it's taref. Now that's a needle in the lung, even if the lung did not get punctured. Problem. Where it says Hahula Hadro, it's not referring to where it was punctured through the tube, through another tube. That's definitely one tube is not a problem. But if it got punctured next to another tube, through two together, that would make it taref, it won't heal. فأمر نحو says حيدورة أنت كانت إن كذا حتى حافرة making ليها. In a case of intestines that are rolled, the roll of intestines that was punctured at one point, and that part that is punctured leans against another part of the intestines, that second line of intestine heals it, protects it. So it's over here. If you're thinking that there's two tubes next to each other, why don't they heal against each other? You can't compare two different types of injuries. Enom din terefat zudum zu. You can never say this terefa is similar to that one. Sharei chotcha mekan umeta v'chotcha mekan v'haya. Because sure enough, if you make the same cut in one spot, the animal could die, and you make a spot in a different spot, if you make the cut in a different spot, it'll be cut tahor. So just because intestines are good at healing does not mean the lungs are. There was a case of a needle found in the primary tube of a lung. He took him into the provide. They came to Hamim and they said it's taref. Lo amru ba lo isur lo heter. They did not say it's mutar or asur. Heter lo amri ishmatayah. They did not say it's mutar because of what we said before regarding a lung that makes taref. Isur nam lo amri. They didn't say it's asur. Came in this important about ishtakah because sometimes if the needle is found in the primary tube, it must be put in a kabata, and maybe it came through through the blood, and therefore it wasn't for sure punctured, therefore mutar, therefore they didn't want to give an answer. They found they one time found a needle in the liver that was cut open. Ravar more bread that I said limited. He wanted to make it tarif. Amar Rashi, ilu ishtakaf yizrah ki gavna ave tarif more. If it would have been found anywhere else in the meat, would it be tarif? No, it's not for sure tarif if it was punctured. When it says a little Rashi, Hazin a kupa lebar na kupa na kiba ate. You have to check the position of the needle. If the blunt side is outside the liver, which means the sharp side in the liver, then that's punctured. If you taref, I kupa legava simpon na kaba ate is the opposite. If the head, the blunt is on the inside and the sharp is on the outside, it's kasher because coming out. Bahani milligram bleach, that's by a large needle. But Kinta have a small needle which can even the blunt side is small enough to puncture. Loshna kupa lagav, loshna kupa lagav makes a difference which side it is. Nakuva nakaba we have to worry that it got punctured. Umayshna mimahachnim said was the difference in the case of the Breta, where a needle was found stuck kosot um in the part of the one of the part of the stomachs. Mitzad Hatishrav, if it's only punctured from sticking out from one side, it's kasher. Mishas didn't say if it was protruding from both sides, it went through and through, it's taref. We don't whether we need to make a difference or distinction whether or not which side of the needle it is. Where it says, I'm going to know, but there's different. Atam by the wall of the chest of the stomach. Given to ika ochalim mashkim, since there's food and drink in that part of the stomach, ema ochalim mashkim dahakua. We have to worry that maybe the needle moved in and out. But the liver, nothing's driving it, therefore you could check the position to tell what's going on. One time they found the needle that was found in the big blood vessel in the liver. Huna bar more bereded idi taref. He says taref. Rather than kasher, he says kasher. Atash that's Ravina. Malahu said shekil the glima terfai. Take away the one who says taref and make him pay back to the owner of the animal because it was kasher. He made a mistake. Use his shirt to pay for his mistaken psa.